I hope you're having an amazing day. My name is Colin, and in this video I have a very urgent SaltChick update because the listing has postponed by 1 week and I have listing on centralized exchanges updates coming for you. So obviously do not forget to subscribe to keep up to date with all the SaltChicks content on this channel. Like this video if you haven't already. I would really appreciate your support. We're going to have a look at everything that's going on with SaltChicks. At the end of this video I will play a Q&A session from Lewis, the COO, where there is all the answers that you are looking for. But obviously the TGE, the token generation event, has been postponed by 1 week. It will list on Raydium. So today is December 6th and it will go live December 13th. If you don't know how to utilize Raydium, go to saltchicks.io, make sure you're on the legit website, go to the Chicks calendar and click here, how to buy Chicks on Raydium, and you'll get a full list on everything you need to know in order to be able to buy on Raydium the SaltChicks coin when it goes live December 13th, 2 p.m. UTC. At that moment, there will also be a claim button on the website. They have said and announced that the same time the listing happens, the token generation event on the website will also happen. So there is no delay, which I first thought they will do that at the same time. I think there will be some congestion because thousands of people will rush to the website. So I assume it will go offline. They cannot handle that capacity, but we will see. They will utilize the same system as when we did the private sale. So when we deposited our Solana from the website on saltchicks.io, and now they will make a claim section. It's not available right now, but it will be very soon. All the launch pads, excluding 1 or 2, are going to utilize this system as well. Everything will be available on the SaltChicks website to ensure that everything is distributed at the same time. So super fair, super coherent. Up until the launch, there will be no information on the third minting of the NFTs. I got that confirmed. So the listing happens first, and after the listing there will be announcements for the third minting. So if you're looking at the NFT price, it is extremely stable at the moment, right? There's still sales happening, but the price is not really moving. The bid floor is around 10 to 12 Solana every single day, right? So we had the highs and now it went down. It went up a little bit, but this is the average price, right? So we're focused more on the bid floor, and the current bid floor specifically 10.5, 14.7, 23.8. Well, these are still kind of the same. Obviously, to take into consideration, the Solana price has dropped about 15 to 20%. So the NFTs right now are relatively cheaper because the price of Solana has gone down. In addition to obviously the price dropping of the NFTs themselves in Solana. So that might be a good opportunity, but no announcements on the NFTs themselves and the third minting for this week, which basically means that I do not expect volatility in the price of the NFTs coming up. Now, of course, we want to know about decentralized exchanges, right? Because we know it will list on Raydium. Now, I have some insider knowledge, obviously, which I get not myself, but I hear from other people, and then I get it confirmed, that there will be a listing on this one, OKEX. I don't know what it's called, but it has major volume. I didn't hear about it before myself, but it has large volumes available. And this was actually provided by one of my Discord members. So if you're not a member, check the link in the description, join the Discord, and you will be the first one to know information like this. What's highly important is that the volume on this exchange is tremendous, right? So I don't know which market they focus on. I haven't done too much research, but there is a lot of volume, which is really good because if it's the number 18 exchange in the world, that will give major traction. It was published by one of the launch pads. So if we go actually to the launchpad overview, view all launch pads. I think it was, if I see the name, I'll know it. Starterra. And then if we go to the SaltChicks launch, which they have done, it says it somewhere right here. Let's see, they have all the information. Confirmed exchanges, OKEX. You see? Which is obviously really interesting. That's very, very good news that one of you guys was really sharp and picked that up. Other than that, we have a partnership for content promotion coming up with Gate.io, which is mentioned in the actual Q&A I will play after I'm done with my own video. I will attach the Q&A Lewis did. And Lewis is, of course, the COO of SaltChicks. You'll be able to see him on this overview right here. So I will play that clip for you where he mentions the Gate.io partnership in terms of content, and he mentions a major influencers promoting SaltChicks this week, next week, and there's already some major movement in a lot of big play to earn geos like Philippines, for example, which of course is really cool. Now, of course, I did some research myself, right? And I like to look at established patterns. So what I did was I looked up the Solana-based blockchain game, Star Atlas, right? Markets, FTX, Radium, Maxi, Gate.io, right? Those are the biggest ones. All right, then which else did launch recently? GenoPads, right? Okay, FTX, Radium, Maxi. Oh, all right. Well, what else did launch? What else do we have? CryoWar. It's a big one, right? KuCoin, Gate, Maxi, Radium. All right. So basically what we could say, or at least look at, and there's a lot more examples like this. I'm not going to show you all the examples, but it would be highly likely that in the near future, we would see the MaxC exchange being added, right? It's not a huge popular one, but there's some decent volume. They are listing a lot of different coins these days. Gate, obviously, which we've already spoke about, and then of course FTX. The reason I mention FTX is that I mentioned it as well way in the beginning because the SaltChicks NFTs are available on FTX NFT marketplace, which is obviously already one foot into the door when you're trying to get listed on FTX, which has major volume behind it as well. Don't get me wrong, it's not Coinbase, it's not Binance, but these centralized exchanges require mass adoption. They care about token holders, they care about distribution volume, 24-hour volume before you can get listed, right? This is just a fresh listing. However, the team has specifically mentioned, which is also in the recording, that they will focus on getting it on the DEX first, Radium, and then after the first day, immediately the centralized exchanges will follow. That's what they've mentioned. Obviously, they have had the time, right? They have 2 weeks to prepare. The listing happens the 13th. We're going to see what's going to happen next week. But in regards to the price prediction, I'm not going to change anything, right? That video is done. However, this is some really good news. Are we sad about the delay of the listing? Not specifically. There was a very good reason. The market was down. There's obviously some pressure to delay. And once you're going to do something, in my opinion, do it right. And that 1 week for any serious investor would not be a major issue. The only people that care about that 1 week delay are the super impatient paper hands and people who are just looking to dump, right? Which is not necessarily something we are about. I'm definitely very, very keen on this project. There have been some ups, there have been some downs, right? But now we just wait for the next 7 days and we see what happens. This is everything from me from this video. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't for more awesome content. Right now, I will give the word to Lewis. It is audio only, so I'll just put up an image and you can listen to this great Q&A because it answered a lot of my questions. So make sure to listen to it carefully if you are investing into SaltChicks because there's a lot of good updates. And I'll see you in the next one.
Talking to myself. I dropped from the computer, dialed back in on my phone now. Don't know what's going on, but no, good to be here.
Cool.
Hi, Lewis. Yeah, welcome. Yep.
I introed myself like 3 times. I was like, why is everyone ignoring me?
So yeah, take the floor, and yeah, the floor is yours. What can we share to to the community right now?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you've already covered, but obviously general updates. We've rescheduled the IDO, the TGE and listing. This was basically outside of our control. So we broke records with the number of launch pads we're on. The consequence of that was that we're at the mercy of 35 different launch pads to collate their data on time and send it to us, which unfortunately not all of them have been able to do. We did allow the raises to run through the course of the week. So for the guys who were later in the week, it was a little bit later, a little bit less lead time. And so what we've found, and this was, I guess, in a way out of our strategy, was that, we were on some Solana focused launch pads, we were on some game focused launch pads, and we're on a bunch of cross-chain launch pads, some of whom have never actually done a raise for a Solana project before. And so as most people hopefully are aware, we're doing a Solana native token. And so for some of these pads, their users haven't used Solana wallets before, or they just haven't had the tech infrastructure set up to be able to easily collect Solana wallet addresses. And so there's been, I think, a fair amount of manual re-entries or wallet switching happening within the launch pads, which has meant they haven't been able to deliver us the full list of their users' Solana wallet addresses on time. And so because of that, basically, even if they had delivered them all by now, we would be, basically up all night trying to collate all of this data. And that just puts us and everyone under, a lot of undue pressure to essentially try to rush the data collection. But I mean, the fact of the matter is that some of the launch pads have still yet to deliver the full data. Some of them have promised it tonight or in the next few hours. But it's just not something we want to hang the success of the listing on, as relying on other people to deliver things on time. And so because of that, we have rescheduled the listing. It's not something that we wanted to do or took lightly, but it's something that had to be done. And it gives everyone, I guess, plenty of time to prepare. And so, we're going to be giving some full updates and announcement around, the full results of all of the raises. It's not something we've been able to do yet, just because we are still in the raising period. A lot of the launchpad sales were actually record breaking for the individual launchpads themselves. We saw individual launchpads being pledged $10-15 million, and record breaking interest, record breaking levels of participation, record breaking times to sell out. A bunch of these guys sold the entire raise, so a lot of funding and the course of 1 or 2 minutes, across a few of them. Obviously, each launch pad has its own systems in place. So some of them it's kind of more guaranteed allocations or fixed time, but a bunch of them it's quite competitive, and we really saw that in terms of the turnout. As with the launchpad model, with each of these pads, for every 100 users that manage to get an allocation, there's usually about 1,000 who don't. So we've seen that, just I guess in terms of the size of our community growth over the last week or so, which is just absolutely blown up, as everybody, I guess, is looking for a piece of the action here. And so we're feeling really good about the community, really good about the support. We've had an amazing run with these Launchpad raises, and so really pleased with how all of our partners have come through on that, and we're really excited for the week ahead. We've got a bunch of news to share. We've got a bunch of things coming up, and we're going to be doing official announcements through the week. You're going to get a chance to get to know the Solchix family, the Solchix team, core team, a bit better. We've got a bunch of content planned around that, and we're really excited about growing the family and bringing everyone on the journey together with us. I'll pause there. I mean, Alex, Blake, happy to take some questions, or if you think there's some other things we should touch on here.
Yeah, I think thank you, Lewis, for filling us up with the recent change in our TGE and listing. And to sum it up, it's mainly due to the logistics behind these 35 launch pads and the oversubscriptions likewise, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's 35. I mean, I think it's more normal to see people launch on 1, 2, maybe for big projects previously up to 5 launch pads. 35, I think you have to pause for a second and think about we have more launch pads than some projects have VCs, and so just the logistics of setting up agreements with each of them, giving them our materials, getting them up to speed on the project, keeping them up to speed as we go, and let alone collecting all of the data at the end. It's a big effort, and we're lucky we have a big team with a lot of depth in the team, and so we've been able to handle this really well. I mean, the funny thing is that it's the launch pads that are struggling here. We're sitting here waiting for their data, and we're basically on top of all of them, all 35 of them. But it's the individual launch pads for just our arrays that are just trying to put all the data together, because they just have so many people involved in the raise from their side. So I think some of them have been a bit overwhelmed by the level of demand. You even see it in the price of the Launchpad native tokens. For some of them, you see this massive spike when they announced the Solchix raise. So
I saw it times 4 or times 5 in one of their native tokens because they announced it Solchix, which is just insane.
And that was one of the big ones too. Let alone some of the smaller launch pads where I feel like we're probably doubled their user numbers for them.
Literally, when you think about it, like through the millions in volume, because didn't they have? Wasn't our best one 15 million in pledges for 1.4 million allocation?
Yeah, no, that's right. It's pretty incredible. I'm reluctant to name any names here because I don't want to shame the guys who haven't got their data in, but they know who they are. The other guys, and most of the majority of the Launchpad partners have been absolutely incredible. Incredibly supportive, and have been very organized. And have been able to deliver us the data, much earlier in the weekend and over the last 3-4 days. Yeah. So, all credit to our Launchpad partners. Couldn't have obviously done such a big raise and such a record-breaking event without every single one of them.
Yeah, thank you, Lewis. And yeah, Blake, you've been into digital marketing and marketing in general. And for the general information of everyone here and those who will be listening to the recorded AMA, or recorded voice chat of our session right now. What does this 35 launchpad brings to our project? Having this huge number of launchpad.
It brings us an insane amount of eyes. Like our reach just extends far and wide. So from a digital marketing perspective, looking at statistics, you compare this with a bunch of, you know, like other projects. I'm actually going to do it as we're on the phone right now. I'm going to go to our analytics for Twitter. So in the last 28 days, I'm actually happy to share this screenshot in the chat as I'm talking to you guys, but in the last 28 days, we have had 9.69 million tweet impressions, and we've had 10 million profile visits to our Twitter page. So that, I don't really know if that makes sense to anyone who understands the numbers, but like if you sort of understand,
that's mind-blowing.
It's actually ridiculous. Like it's just we have an insane amount of reach, and like if you want to just quickly have a look, guys, I've just screenshotted that and put it in the chat just now, and so you can see that that's the analytics straight out of the Twitter page, right? Twitter gives us these analytics, so there's no faking this. Like this, we are literally the fastest growing project. Like you are on an absolute like rocket here. Like it's just. I don't know if I'm being biased, but like I'm so big on numbers, and this just speaks volume. Like it's just incredible. So yeah, like, and not only the launch pads, you know, Alex, like touching on all our VC and KOL partners, like for the next 15 months, which is how long they're sort of locked in with us for, or longer, like they're all going to be pushing our project out to their networks. And so we've just got like a continuous amount of marketing that's going to be going on just relentlessly. Like anyone that doubts us, like feel free to just save this photo that I just sent you and just post it back to them. It's just unbelievable what this project has been able to achieve. And I'm truly proud to be a part of it.
Yeah, I love numbers likewise, Blake. And I think this metric shows us the amount of followage, the amount of people following the project, right?
Yeah, it's insane.
And you mentioned about
that's only one channel. We haven't even like touched on Telegram. We haven't touched on Discord. You know that in itself is big numbers.
And our Instagram has been growing. Is also skyrocketing as our Instagram. Right.
Yeah. Sorry, I keep forgetting.
Even our TikTok.
TikTok. And we have LinkedIn.
Yeah, you can't forget LinkedIn. I'm personally I set up our LinkedIn page, so I'm a little biased there. It's one of our smaller channels, but it's also growing. It's got great growth stats too.
That's awesome.
Wow.
What do we got on Instagram? I think we started it 2 weeks ago, and we've got 20K followers now. Here's another statistic, like with Instagram. So if you're a good influencer and you know what you're doing, you'll hit approximately like I think this sort of number changes with the amount of following that you have. But if you're a good influencer and you've got about 1 million followers, which you know a couple of my mates like are around that number, I know for a fact, hearing it from a primary source, that 5% is a good engagement rate. So if you've got 5% engagement on your page, that's great. We have had 23.8% engagement rate on our Instagram in the last 2 weeks, which is just insanity. Like again, like a big number, like huge numbers when you think about what's actually happening behind the scenes and what's going on here. Like just incredible, you know. But yeah.
Wow. That's awesome. And yeah, I'm from the Philippines, and I'm working with this group of KOLs, and I'm happy to share some numbers. For example, this is just half of the KOLs group, and there's a reach of about 31.2 million Instagram followers, collective reach of this KOLs. We have a 9.2 million collective reach of all YouTube followers, and it's insane numbers of these KOLs, this influencer supporting our project, and that's Philippines alone.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, Alex, but like we say KOLs, influencers, like some of these guys are like actual like tier 1 celebrity level people, right? This is we're talking like a different ballpark to what you usually think of when you think of like an influencer.
Right, that's correct. And actually, we have the Selena Gomez of Philippines, and a lot of things that they are actually right now pushing our product, our project on their own Twitter and on their own social. So yeah, it's amazing what these celebrities have been what they are doing.
They just love the project, and I just love the passion of the community. And like I think the Philippines is probably one of the most advanced and passionate countries around, you know, NFTs, play to earn, and projects like Soltrix. It's incredible the level of awareness, engagement, and love that people have for the space and for the industry.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm really excited to see and witness how this is growing, and we are duplicating this kind of growth, this kind of push, like in all other countries and even untapped countries. And yeah, and it's really exciting how the community is growing fast. And yeah, just sharing from Philippine side. But Blake, you mentioned about BC. Maybe you can give us some treat, or are you allowed to give us some treat? Just drop one big name for those who are listening right now.
Lewis can.
Well, I mean, I don't want to take away too much from like the actually incredible lineup of VCs that we have on board currently. I would just, in particular, I would just call out like MetaVest Capital and GD10, who are not just big name VCs, but have been incredibly engaged and incredibly helpful to us throughout the project. I'm just giving a call out as MVPs in terms of the big name introductions that they made for us, the continued advice and support and strategy that they've been able to help us with. You know, these are guys who have basically invested in all of the top projects across GameFi, across crypto generally, actually. And so they've got this wealth of experience that they can bring to the table, which we really benefit from.
That's amazing. Yeah. So those 2 key points, right?
I mean, you know, like it's a deep lineup as well. You know, you got guys like Master Ventures, you've got guys like Spartan Group, you've got the whole range of people from your AU21s to your like Banter Capital, kind of massive. These are guys who are very, in the know in the space. They know good projects when they see them. They only invest in the best projects and can afford to be picky because they get a chance to look at everything. And they only want to invest in projects where they see a lot of potential and potential for a really big success. And I think some people have asked us, why, how come your total raise amount seems to have gone up, a little bit from earlier on in the launch. And the answer is that we want to onboard the best partners. We want to bring on the best investors, and we want to bring on the most supportive, KOLs and partners into our cap table as we can, because these are the partners who are going to drive our success over the next months and years. Like, these guys are committing for the long term. They've got long lockups. They're taking a bet. They're putting their money where their mouth is, that we are going to be absolutely massive. Not just next week, not just that first week of trading. Like, they're making a bet on like 6 months, 1 year, 2 years down the line that we are going to absolutely blow up the space. And so we've got people coming on that some of them we've been talking to for a long time. They've been doing their due diligence. They've been considering their options, and they've been signing up, and they keep coming on. So we've got people like Genblock who are absolutely massive name in the space. We've got some big kind of tier 1 exchanges coming onto the Capital stack as well. I don't want to give away too many spoilers about who it is, but we've got some big exchange partners lined up. I think we've probably already announced a couple. We've got Gate already, but we're getting more. We're getting tier 1 names, and it's going to be massive. Just for the demand for our token once we're trading as well.
That's awesome. And yeah, like the way I hear it from you and from Lewis is we have a solid following, like based on the numbers from socials and everything, and from the investor side of you, we have a solid support from all this BCs, and likewise, and I think I can mention we have also solid support coming from the gaming community. We have support from different esports, from different guilds, and we will be releasing announcement about this groups, right, Blake?
Most definitely. Looking forward to this week. Even the next 24 to 48 hours, some of the release announcements that we're allowed to finally give away. A lot of the time, guys, for legal reasons, we can't actually disclose who we've partnered with, whether it's an exchange or whether it's a VC or, just a different partner. And so these announcements just take time, but exciting stuff that we've actually finally got the okay from a couple of big ones to be able to release. Looking forward to being able to release those.
Yeah.
Really,
some of the big partners, they want to control the news flow, and so they say, you're signed with us, but we get to announce first, not you. And it's a little frustrating sometimes when you've got these big things saved up, but it's always worth the wait. I think, like Alex was hinting, we've been talking to, I think, most of all of the big guilds out there. We're setting up some great partnerships, and we've got big news there with one of the top tier guilds.
Correct.
And it's it's really exciting times. I think, to some extent, and I want to reiterate, we didn't want to have to move the listing. It was out of our hands due to the Launchpad data collection process. But I think a lot of our news flow over the last week was really about the Launchpads and about the raise. And we've had a few of these big announcements that we've just been waiting for a bit of space to be able to give it the full airing that it deserves. And so I think the next few days is going to be, I think, really fun for people. I think people are going to be I think the hype is just going to keep building. I think we thought we were big already when we hit 250K on Twitter or 180K on Telegram, but I think once these next few updates come out, people are gonna they're gonna lose their minds.
Yeah, and can you give us just a quick walkthrough what will be happening upon listing, right? How can we claim the token? What will be our DEX, and what will be the lineup in general?
Yeah, good question. This is definitely an FAQ. What we're going to be doing is that we're going to have a claiming dashboard on our website. There's a couple of reasons we're doing this approach. One, we want to be fair to everyone, and so if you give all your tokens to each of the launch pads in advance, you're relying on you're trusting 35 different parties to stick to the timetable and not release tokens early to their communities, which they've got, every incentive to do so because it's an advantage. And so to keep things safe and fair, everyone is claiming their tokens from our website, which will be available at the same time for everyone. We looked into the airdropping methods. Even the best solutions out there, it would have taken, I think, at least a couple of hours, if not more, to send out all the tokens. And so there would have been a random bias where some people were getting them and other people don't have them yet. And that would have been very confusing. So we're going to have a claiming dashboard on our website. It will be, if you participated in our direct whitelist raise on our website, it'll be a little bit like that. We'll have a DApp. You'll log in with your Solana wallet, which will be matched against our database of every wallet address we've collected, which is mapped against the number of tokens you're due. If you're a public ground investor, you've got a 25% unlock of your tokens to claim. We're going to have a full explanation and walkthrough for this, which we'll release later in the week so that everyone can get familiar with the process in advance. Likewise, our DEX is going to be Raydium. We've actually got a full walkthrough for Raydium up on our website already. So if you go to our website, we've got a little heading up at the top, chicks tokens. You go to the drop down, how to buy chicks on Raydium, and we walk you through the process. So some people, particularly people who are a little bit more new to Solana, I think this is really helpful one to get familiar. Raydium is the biggest DEX in Solana. I think it's probably a top 10 in all of crypto actually, by volume. And so, this is a very simple, decentralized way to be able to trade your token. We will have a centralized exchange available at approximately the same time on the same day. As kind of Blake alluded to, our centralized exchange doesn't let us announce them before they announce us. So we're going to do a coordinated announcement later in the week around who that is and how you can get involved there. And then, we've actually got a bit of a lineup, a bit of a roadmap of adding more exchanges. So, the best advice is generally to just, have a small number of exchanges on day one, just so you have, really strong concentrated liquidity, and then you bring in the additional exchanges over time, just to broaden the buying pool. And keep that demand flowing for the token. So we're very mindful of the trading dynamics there. We're going to have plenty of liquidity on the DEX on day one. Obviously, with the large raise, it's very easy to be able to be generous on liquidity, and we've got market makers lined up to help make sure everything runs smoothly as well. So that's probably the key points to be aware of. Claiming dashboard on our website at TGE, which is next Monday, the 13th. And if you're not on the centralized exchange, everybody is able to use the DEX. That's what it's all about. It's open access, decentralized. So get familiar with Raydium if you aren't already, because that's going to be one of the first places that you'll be able to trade.
Okay. So, for example, I bought an IDO from a BSC Launchpad, right? Because we have cross-chain Launchpad, right? So I used my MetaMask to buy from the Launchpad. But in order for me to claim the token, I should go to our website, solchicks.io, using a Solana wallet to receive the token, right? That's how it works.
Yeah, that's more or less how it works. Obviously each launchpad might be a little different, but every Launchpad is collecting Solana wallet addresses, and so you would have created a Solana wallet if you didn't already have one, and provided that to your Launchpad, who have collected the data and sent it to us, or will be sending it to us very shortly, for in the case of a couple of them. And so that's the wallet that you'll use on the day to claim on our website. And so you'll be able to go in there, essentially log in, receive the tokens, and then they'll be in your wallet. You can you can move them to the centralized exchange, or you can trade them on Raydium, or you can hold them and benefit from the price appreciation over time.
Yeah, about that, Lewis, about holding. There will be staking of shitcoins, right? When will this be available? Do we have a projected, or let's say a safe date, to a safe estimate?
Yes, there will be staking. We're looking into a number of programs. We're looking to have potentially more than one, not necessarily all available or available on day one, but we're looking to phase it in very quickly after that. We're working with our partners now around setting that up, and what kind of yields that we want to target, what kind of lockups we want to set. We're aware that a lot of people, this is one of the things that they love to do, and I mean, it's a great way to earn, because you basically just locking up your tokens. You probably wanted to keep holding them for quite a while anyway, but you basically get additional rewards and benefits for doing so. So we'll be announcing more on that in the coming days, and so just keep a lookout, stay alert on our announcement channels and our various social channels for the details when that comes out.
All right. So yeah, I think that summarizes everything mostly, right, Blake? That what we would like to share, or news and updates in general for today.
Can you repeat that last 5 seconds for me, Alex?
Yeah. I think that summarizes everything that we would like to share on this news and update session. Yeah, cool. But I think we have some two participant who has question. I think we can take some, like Lewis.
Yeah, I mean that's why they call it an AMA, right?
Yeah, but generally, our intention is just to provide the news and updates. But of course, we are happy to take some
I
action.
think obviously there's a pretty big announcement today. I'm sure everybody was keen to get the additional context, and people like to get the depth and backstory, and I think it's always fun to drop a few hints and tips around what's coming for the guys who are engaged enough to join these chats.
And yeah, we appreciate your time, Lewis. I know it's almost 2 a.m. there in Sydney, and
anything for the community. The unfortunate part of living in Australia in this time zone is that if you want to do any big announcement with a maximum audience, it's usually pretty late into the night for you in order to accommodate the rest of the world.
Yeah, so let's just some question just quickly. Adrian, yeah, you can unmute yourself.
Hello, bro.
Yes, go ahead.
Hey,
Where are you from?
I'm from Philippines.
Oh, Kabayan. Okay, yeah. What's your question?
Can we list in Jupiter? It is like Raydium, but it is one of the good decks in Sol.
I think for us, day one, we're going to be targeting just the Raydium decks in terms of dexes. As I kind of alluded to before, it's generally better to concentrate your liquidity in as few places as possible in order to get the maximum benefits. But we will look to add additional dexes over time, and as well as additional centralized exchanges as well. So these additional partners are on the roadmap. But day one, dex-wise, it will just be Raydium.
Okay, bro. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, AG Chain. Yeah, your question. Please unmute yourself.
Hello.
Hi. Where are you
Hey,
from?
man.
Yeah. I have a question about the final minting Soul Checks NFTs. So how it we have any information how it will be? I don't know. Like for example, you should stake tokens to be whitelisted, or it will be for public.
So the Mint 3 event for our NFTs, that's the question. Just to clarify.
Yeah, it's about next minting.
Yeah, so if you've been following the project a while, we did our first 2 mints directly on our website, which was a really great community building experience. We had a lot of interest, and those mints were very strong. We are actually, and this is one of these things that I'm not sure how much detail I should be giving, but we're actually talking to a tier 1 exchange who want to do the next mint on their NFT launchpad. If you've been following the spaces, the big exchanges are trying to get into NFTs in a big way, and so they're trying to pick up the top projects to launch their NFTs and basically bring their massive user bases into the space. And so we're actually quite excited about this. It's an opportunity to really expand the audience even further for our NFTs. I think at the moment we've got a really big Solana-based audience, which we see ourselves as like a very I guess diverse project. We've got people all over the world. We're welcoming people from every blockchain. And so, similar to our IDO Launchpad strategy, we see a lot of value in, being partnered with parties who have really big audiences, so that we can bring them on and into the SolChicks family.
Yep, and
Okay,
I think in terms of date, that will be sometime in late December, the next minting, and we'll be providing the details.
Yeah, I mean it will be soon. I don't want to promise December because we are Christmas is fast approaching.
Okay.
And we do want to have a bit of a lead time post our token listing to
Unless
really
you want
have
to meet
a focused
Christmas
marketing campaign. But it's not too far away, and yeah, we've got an announcement coming soon around it.
Also, meaning Lewis, there might be some changes initially because we planned it late December, but given the amount of activities and priorities that I think lining up right now, so there might be some changes to it.
Yeah, I think I think we probably don't want to launch it between Christmas and New Year's. At least I think the team, I think our team would appreciate having maybe a little bit of a breather between those days. I know we like to work around the clock and every day of the week, but maybe if we can just keep Christmas Day clear, I'm sure we'll have a happier team.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
For that. Okay, so yeah, I'll be taking last 2 questions. Mo Baka, you can unmute yourself.
Hello everyone, how are you today? I have a question. I have a question actually. about the total circulating system. So it starts with 95 million. What about the other 10 billion? How will it be released? What dates?
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, this is a fairly detailed question about our tokenomics. We will be releasing a consolidated full update on this, obviously, with with some of our launch pads still delivering data. We want to be able to give a full update that has the full information that we will be as accurate as possible. And this is why we've been cautious about sharing too many updates on the specific numbers during the process, because the last thing we want is to have 10 sets of numbers out there. I think the best way to think about it is that it's only really the investor tokens that are going to be circulating on day one. So we had some kind of unlocks in our tokenomics around like the ecosystem rewards. Those aren't going to be circulating on the market day one. Some of those are going to be used for staking and basically effectively lockups that are going to be reducing the supply if anything. I think this is actually another silver lining about having a little bit of a delay in our listing, because it means that we can give everyone a full and proper update on our tokenomics with enough lead time for people to really read and digest that before trading begins. If we had been in a position to be able to go ahead with the listing tomorrow, we would have been able to give that update till basically on the day, which for people who aren't glued to their screens watching every update and being there every moment, it's a bit of a disadvantage for people. So I know this is something that's very important for a lot of people who are more financially driven crypto investors, and so giving people the chance to digest and understand all of the information is going to be, I think, really, really helpful for everyone.
Thank you. Last question, and the rest we can take on the main chat. So yeah, Ariel. Ariel. Yeah, you can unmute yourself, Ariel.
Excuse me. I have a question, sir.
Yes.
Do you have a plan to have a staking during or after the TGE in order to avoid the fluctuation of the token, sir?
Yeah. So I mean, I have touched on this. We are planning to have staking. It will be introduced shortly after our listing, and so for those who are keen to stake, there will be staking available, and that should be a nice benefit for people who like to stake, and it should be nice generally for the token performance in terms of giving some people a place to park their money and earn some yield whilst people buy up the supply.
All right. Yeah,
So
I
thank
think
you.
that concludes our session tonight. Thank you for the news and updates. Thank you, Blake, Lewis, and the rest of the team.
Yeah, thank you, Alex, for hosting us here. Always happy to be on, always happy to connect with the community and answer questions and let people know what's happening with the project. So yeah, thanks again.
Yeah,
Yep,
likewise.
thank you.
Yeah, have a good day, everyone. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye. Bye.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.